Hi, this is Blake with Anarchy Entertainment and Farley Productions. Today I am doing a review of the 2016 twin-stick shooter Ghostbusters that came out shortly after the movies. It was produced by Activision and made and developed by Fireforge Games. Now, I was hopeful about this game, seeing that I always like hearing the music to this. They at least were able to get the license for the original theme. But, as you'll soon see, that excitement quickly faded as I was subject to this opening movie.
Man, Aaron and Abby are my heroes. They believed in the existence of the paranormal when it wasn't even cool.
Ditto. Before meeting those ladies, I only had myself to look up to. Huh. Looks like they're still out there making supernatural herstory. Check this photo they just sent.
Holy trap! I recognize those ghosts they caught. They're all famous assassins.
Haunting the White House?
They must have stopped them before they assassinated the president.
So while they're in Washington saving the free world, we sit here looking at selfies of them saving the free world? What's wrong with this picture?
Don't worry. Before they come back, we'll get our chance to vaporize vengeful Class 4 apparitions too.
When you gonna call?
Guys, turn on the news, quick! There's something strange, right here, in the neighborhood.
You better not be sweating because you forgot my crab rangoon.
That fried stuff will kill you.
I strap an unlicensed nuclear pack on my back and you think a wonton's gonna take me down.
They're on the scene. Sir, you were the first person to see what happened. Can you describe it to us?
There's this great big giant spiraling rift, then ghost starts flying out of it. You know, like... I mean, it's a stuff of nightmares.
You heard it here first, New York.
We got our first mission, Ghostbusters. Everyone ready to save the city from imminent death and destruction just like our foremothers?
Yes, we are!
Then let's show them what we're made of.
Joker, I am Vic.
Now, we know the Ghostbuster properties can do well in new forms. The original, the real Ghostbusters cartoon was an excellent example of this. It was interesting, a little more cleaned up for us younger people at the time, but it was still well written, pretty interesting, and they at least got voice actors who sounded similar to their original cast. And here we have an entirely new cast of people. And the stats mean very little, of course, in your first time playing. And as I'm showing on screen, a new cast does not always mean success. You're asking us to get invested in a whole new set of characters, and in this case, as that opening cutscene is established, these people are really not that interesting, and anyone who has to make about 10 puns in the opening scene is trying to appeal to children, and they're not doing it well. I have to give it to them here, though. The artwork is decent in this loading screen, but this is about the last time I will be pleasantly surprised for the rest of this game.
Too bad you killed all the maids. Needs dusting.
We know you met the previous Ghostbusters lady.
And puked on one of them.
So now it's our turn.
So already we have the cast chit-chatting away in an inane and completely pointless way, while me and my partner try to figure out the controls, not too hard as most twin-stick shooters are. What we're mostly musing about while we're doing this is the complete lack of range our weapons have, especially his, which is basically a made-up Ghostbuster Gatling gun. Another thing that becomes quickly tiresome is the need to compete with one another to find the hidden objects in the environment to get experience points. This slows the action down incredibly, as we are constantly having to find these things before the other one in order to level up faster. the sound of the collection noise, that collection sound you're hearing, gets pretty tiresome pretty quickly too.
Interesting.
And I also love all the creative ghosts and creatures we got in the original movie and perhaps the remake. And we get glowing skulls as our first enemies. And a lame team-up damage system, which is a shell of really what they allowed you in Marvel Ultimate Alliance and those games. Not very impressive here, folks. I do recall at this point of the game, I'm already getting annoyed due to my weapon's extremely high tendency to overheat. So, already some trouble with balancing, that's apparent. I did not see the new Ghostbusters movie, but I did recognize that this is a reference to the movie, and as far as I was able to make it in this game before I wanted to kill myself, it's at least something. It's really the only thing I've seen so far other than cute little references the character makes to the movie that this is supposed to be based on. Ooh, scary flying books. That's original. Once again, my partner is having an amazingly hard time with the fact that his Gatling laser has no range. Each character has a unique grenade that they're able to use, and most of them make absolutely no sense in reference to a ghost. My character is throwing a flashbang grenade. How that would affect a ghost in any way, shape, or form is absolutely beyond me.
I see right through you.
More lame quipping.
Business finished. Come to mama.
Fire in the hole!
I mean, if they're going to make us play these lame asses for this entire game, the least they could do is make us care a little about them. So far, all we're really getting is a bunch of people who just throw one-liners so bad I don't think they could get Arnold Schwarzenegger to save them.
Brave's waiting for you. Make contact.
Crushed it! Fully recharged.
Incoming.
One level in and we're already reviving the AI partners because they're so helpful.
Hey there. Switch to your proton wand.
Give him a slam.
Slam down!
All right.
You know, I love meaningless button mashing, don't you?
Who altered your state? This guy. Whooped your invisible butt.
I mean, I don't think we even knew we were competing with one another, nor do I think we really cared. That was just the first level, and a lot of that I cut out. First level, what a slog that was. After the first level, me and the other guy basically had to talk each other into continuing to play this.
Ghostbusters, can I take your order?
I am Montgomery Strange.
Strange name.
I prefer Montgomery.
You must come to the cemetery immediately. The ghost of Marie DeVoe has risen from her vault.
Vault? Must be St. Louis Cemetery.
Indeed. I am in charge of supervising all of the mausoleums.
Lucky for us, you're not so great at your job. And we're spectacular at ours.
Clearly you are unaware that in her day, Marie DeVoe led one of the most vicious, ruthless gangs in the city.
We got some EMF interference. Is she on the line?
She died in the 1920s. I doubt she knows how to use a cell phone.
Doesn't need to. The activity field from the other side has the power to fluctuate energy levels and break in on a call. It can also mess up DVR recordings in the last 5 minutes. Hate that.
You need to come here and stop her before it's too late.
Too late for what?
Too late for...
For paying his cell bill? Weird. We better check it out.
I don't know about you guys, but that was so painful I almost couldn't watch it a second time. It's kind of like that same mismatch of tone that people often cite in the first Star Wars movie involving Jar Jar Binks and Qui-Gon Jinn. One side's being totally serious, the other side not at all. Sadly, you're playing as the Jar Jar Binks.
Even as an adult, I still love playing in cemeteries.
We're Ghostbusters. Cemeteries are like our amusement parks.
Only instead of rides and characters, there are crypts and the ghost of a voodoo queen on a bloodthirsty rampage.
Oh yeah, totally worth the price of admission.
This once again is another example how using the collection devices, I forget what they were actually called, is slowing down the pace of the game entirely. We're now so bent on trying to collect our experience instead of fighting for it that we have completely brought the pace of the game to a sluggish halt. Once again, what creative enemies we've thought of. Kind of seems to me the design team got lazy. Especially when you consider a lot of the ghosts from the original movies really just looked like whatever cartoon character the designers thought of and then melted.
Step into the light.
That's really more creative than a bunch of ghost zombies, books, and floating skulls. This game by this point is such a colossal disappointment to us. We're struggling to get enough footage just to make this video.
Gonna find you.
We're close.
Later, stalker.
I'd like to point out the amount of time it took between the last encounter and this one. Again, something about the pacing of this game just makes it a chore to play. let's also never mind the completely racist and culturally wrong undertones of being in a Louisiana cemetery and running into these types of enemies, including gangsters and a voodoo priestess.
Fully recharged.
Music, I'd also like to point out, became particularly noticeable to me at this stage for being completely uneven with what's going on. It meanders, which is not very good for a game that's supposed to be action-oriented.
Slam sandwich. Slam that ghost. Slam that ghost.
All right.
5? I'm like the MVP of EVP. You're it.
Slime in the hole.
Come to mama.
Burning up here.
Switch to your proton wand.
Dark matter, anyone?
Want a piece of me, pal?
Really, in conclusion, this has to be one of the worst games I played in all of 2016. And I played a few clunker indie games, and I still would have to say, despite I appreciate Activision taking the chance and letting a small studio try something. And I'd also like to point out that this game bankrupted its development studio 3 days after this game's release. That's how poor this game was. I'm frankly at a loss between all the quips and the bad animation, the uninteresting characters. I'm gonna struggle to give this game a 3 out of 10. And only because it's not broken. Is this the worst Ghostbusters property ever? Oh, God, that's right. Just end it.